Hey, it's JB, and we're going to learn the guitar part for If Thou Lovest Me as it's played on the Badasht Volume 2 album. This song has really made the rounds, and there's a million ways people play it, but I just want to show you the original way that it was played, and for anybody who feels like going to the trouble of learning this part, at least you'll have a reference point, a guitar lesson to really nail it. And I'm using all of these as just kind of little guitar lessons in general, also because there's certain techniques and things you need to do to play the song that, you know, give you an opportunity to learn a cool little thing. So this song is definitely one of those. So what we're mostly going to do in this song, the main sort of quote-unquote technique that I want to show you guys is to be able to play rhythm guitar while bouncing your heel of your hand on the bridge. Like this. I'm playing in A minor right now. And as you can hear, this is very different sounding. It's like a muted sound, very different than if I take my hand off the bridge and I play it open. It's completely different. It's almost like it goes from nighttime to daytime. You can really hear it. So if I was playing wide, like open, and then I put my hand on the bridge a little bit, not even tightly, but just a little bit. Basically, it's doing that, but right at the same time that the pick is hitting the strings. And then, if you move your hand slightly closer to the sound hole, it mutes all the way. So you want to find a sweet spot for this. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I just kind of wanted you to get in the mindset that this part of your hand is part of the picture to get this sound. This is the sound of Neil Young, Tom Petty, Stephen Stills, some of the real great steel string guitar players from the kind of folk rock era and the classic rock era. There's a lot of that technique, and that's how you play electric too. You have to control the strings and kind of halfway mute them a lot of the time. I mean, I'd say at least half the time I'm doing that. So that's kind of the main technique that we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and get into the opening riff of the tune. I am gonna start on the 3rd string with my 2nd finger, 4th fret, and I'm gonna play a note right there and slide it up to the 5th fret. Okay, with a downstroke. And I'm going to play the 5th string open. Okay, downstrokes both. And then an upstroke on the open 1st string. So see if you can do that. That's how it starts. So that's going to become a little bit of a pattern that we're going to use for this whole intro. Okay, that's the first time we're clamping down. We're going to let the pick hit the strings at the same time that the heel of the hand completely chokes the strings. So that's the big mute, which kind of gives you the impression of a drum beat. 1, 2. On the 2, you've got a snare drum, right? That's the vibe you're trying to get. I noticed my hand flattened out. As I'm doing these lessons, I'm noticing a lot of little things that I do. One of them is that when I want the strings to choke out that hard, I flatten my hand. Very gently. I'm not squeezing the neck. I'm actually doing the opposite. I'm going I didn't even know I was doing it until I looked, and there it is. My hand gently touched all of the strings so that nothing comes out. Next, we're going to go on the third string. It's the same way that He Maketh Victorious opens, actually. We're going to go 2nd fret to 4th fret while playing the 2nd string open with it so that it goes. And then we're going to hit the low E. So, and then that same high E. So, okay. Then we're going to go, which is something we've been doing in a couple of different songs, a hammer-on the 3rd string from open to 2nd fret with your 2nd finger. I'm also letting the pick hit the 2nd string a little bit to get that sound, kind of a country-ish sound. And I'm playing the big F, as usual, with my thumb on the bass note and my 3rd and 4th fingers on the 5th and 4th string. Okay, let's just kind of zoom in on that for a minute. So, and that's just a regular C chord, muting the low E with my thumb and a little bit with my 3rd finger by overreaching slightly. So, you notice on the F, we're not hitting that high E string. We're just hitting this. That's the 2nd string. And I am, as usual, muting out the high E string on that big F chord. I'm not really using it. So if you can sharpshoot that upstroke to miss the 1st string, it sounds a little better. Like that. So all of it, here we go. Really slow and then normal speed. Now, when I hit the C chord, what I'm noticing is that I sort of hit it 2 different ways. I hit 2 groups of strings, really. That group, and then, make sure I hit the bass note. So, listen closely to that. It's kind of nice to separate the chord, even if it's only on the 4 middle strings, just to separate it into kind of like a low and a high. I always do that. I find myself doing it all the time. And the way I describe it to people is, if you're playing piano, you're going to use your left hand and your right hand, not always at the same time, but kind of alternating between low and high. So, and did you hear that mute? There it is. There's that bounce. Right there on the bridge. Makes it sound great. Let's see if I'm doing it anywhere else. Nope, I'm only doing it on the C. Let's see if I'm doing anything else. Yes, I am. Okay, number 1, when I do this, I'm trying not to hit the 2nd string. I'm trying not to do that. I only want to hear that string by itself. Okay? You may be tempted to hit the 2nd string with it. If you find that you keep doing that, then maybe try to use your 2nd finger to mute it out, just so that it doesn't ring. But it's good for you to learn how to just tag one string at a time if you can. And the other thing that I'm hearing is some little mutes. This is a little bit fancy. If you want to do this, you can try it. You hear that little... I'm doing that probably on all of them. I'm almost doing it, and then sometimes you hear it. That may have been slightly exaggerated, but that's the sound. Let's exaggerate it more. It just adds to the rhythm. The exaggeration didn't work. It's quiet. That's the intro, okay? And then we're gonna go A minor, E minor, F, C. And we're gonna do our little walk down chords. C to this inversion of G that's really only the 4 middle strings, and it's second finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, open 4th string, open 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string with your little finger. So C, A minor. That's a very common walk up. I talk about it in some of the other lessons. You're gonna need to be able to do that move. So, okay, so here's what we're doing. We're doing a very muted on the low notes. So if you can play this, then you can play this song. So if that's not coming easily, let's work on that. It's a rock thing. It's very Tom Petty, very Neil Young. You hear how it's really important to get that mute. And then for the chord, I'm lifting my hand off the bridge so that it does ring out. So it's like mute, open, mute, open, mute, open, C. And I'm not really doing it on the C chord. It's kind of nice to have a break from all the muting. So we're gonna go. That's what we do there. And then when we sing the verse, if thou lovest me, we're gonna keep playing that. Turn away from thyself. And then eventually we get to the end. It just keeps going. So you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of this. So really work on that mute, open, mute, open. Because that's most of the song. And then eventually, I think we actually hit the C early. So that one comes early. I know it comes in early on the soul version. I think it comes in early on the rock version. I've probably played it enough times that it's starting to merge the two, but that's very Neil Young, very Heart of Gold. And now we're gonna play the chorus. The chorus is very easy and really rewarding to play because all you gotta do is take that C chord and move it up 2 frets. And we're finally gonna play wide open. We're not gonna mute at all. We're gonna go like this. It's kind of nice if you can even slide up to it. Big F. There, that's important. Big F. And then with our second finger, on, off, on, off. It's like a little internal melody there. When we're playing this this chord, which is a type of a D chord with some extra fancy stuff in there, we're really muting. Listen to how muted that low E string is. Why? Because we want to play it wide open. Oh, son of man. Here comes on, off, on, off. When we play the last big F, we're going to do it without the second finger. And this time, for once, we're going to try to get the high E string in the chord, okay? Hear that? So let's do it again. Wide open. G. Quick G chord. 2, 3, 4. Now, a word about tone. When you're playing single notes on a guitar, they tend to sound really thin if your pick is perfectly flat to the strings. So what I do instead is I tilt it slightly, get a little more like mid-range and bass out of the note. Here's the note with the pick flat, and here's it, here's with it sideways. Hear the difference? Big and fat, too skinny. So when you're doing these single notes, I would angle your pick down ever so slightly just to get a nice big fat sound. And then when you're playing full chords like this, it actually sounds nice when you flatten it out and try not to get a lot of bass energy out of the strings. I like that to be really, I'll even play it a little closer to the bridge and really get it to sound jangly. Here comes. That's really the whole song, honestly. And at the end, we have a double chorus where we're going, oh, son of man. Oh, son of man. We do it again. Oh, son of man. And then a big, oh, son of. That's my favorite chord. The big F with the open first and third strings. I use it all the time. I use it way too much. My goal in life is that by the time I die, if somebody plays that chord, you're like, oh, that's the JB chord. It's not going to happen, but wouldn't that be cool? Like when you play this, it's the Hendrix chord. This is the JB chord. Because no one else plays that chord. Anyways, so chicka, chicka. There's a little bit of chicka in there. Doesn't need it. And that is If Thou Lovest Me. So let me know how this is working out for you in the comments, and if you have any links to you playing it out there in the wild, go ahead and let me see it. And just feel free to talk about it and share with us whatever you're experiencing with this music when you use it out there in the world. It's always really fun for us to hear about it. So hope that helps. See you later.